After the conclusion of this matter, 2 and 3, we will place our matters, Lordship, the matters which we want to file related to this.
Can you not wait for some time, sir?
Yes,
If
yes,
you're
sir.
otherwise busy,
We
you
will
may
wait.
attend to all other duties
We
and
will,
come at
we will wait.
you can come at 4 p.m.
We will wait. Chalo, Shishida.
Yes. Who appears for the election commission?
Lordship, I
yes.
am appearing for that.
Yes. Now, what is the
Mr.
report?
Jishnu Shah is appearing with me. On the last occasion, he appeared.
Yes.
On the last occasion, I was not in town.
No.
Therefore,
Protector,
Well, pursuant to your lordship's direction, we have prepared my lord report, my lord, which I shall hand up to your lordship in this matter. Copy আছে। এটা কি 2 and 3. Well, may I hand up to you, Lord? সেগুলো নেই।
So note 14. What they have no, see, you have to ask for it. Sir, a copy, sir.
কপি কপি দিন, একটা কপি দেবে। আমি আমার কপিটা দিতে পারি, কিন্তু এটা মার্ক কপি একসঙ্গে করবো।
আমাদের কাছে আর দাবি করছে চেক ঢুকবে না, বুঝতে পারছেন? এই শোনা
কপি আছে কোনো একটা তুমি এটা না
ভেরি ভেরি কি বলছি দেখো দাদা, এটাকে রিগার্ডিং অ্যাপ্লিকেশন অবজারভার, অ্যাপয়েন্টমেন্ট অফ অবজারভার,
taken together.
and a statement that they are not averse to CCTV. It is already in the statement. CCTV থাকবে নন ঘোষিত বলেছি 6%। ওরা কি বলছে দেবেন? দেবেন।
So the first issue is regarding extension of the date of nomination.
Yes, but
The commission says, as per the section 43(1)(a), there is a buffer of only 1 day.
this is what, well, in the earlier elections, it was 7 days times were given. If your lordship, we have annexed the copies of those. If your lordship takes annexure 1.
But here what has happened is, we don't know about what happened last time. The publication was made on Friday.
Yes.
And commencement of filing of nominations was started on the same day.
That is,
So normally the date of publication is excluded.
So 6 days it comes to. So 7 days in the earlier elections we had granted. 7 days we shall grant. If your lordship so desires, up to 16th of
Let
June
us
we
see
can.
the schedule.
Your lordship looks at the schedule.
Page 56. This is certificate by action online.
15th of June as the last date for making nomination.
So, my lord, I am calculating, I am excluding 9th, that 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 15th, 6 days.
11th is a
It comes to 6 days.
11th Sunday.
But in the earlier ones, we had given 7 days and there was no objection. And my lord, the nominations
So
were finally
according to the commission, this 15th June can be pushed to 17th June.
it's 16 June, I was suggesting.
16th June.
16th will make it 7 days. So, my lord, 1 day's extension, my lord, if your lordship so allows. I thought that perhaps since, my lord, it had not been objected to on earlier occasions and they found it sufficient, my lord.
Let us see section 43 1A of
Yes,
the
my
West
lord.
Bengal
Lord,
Panchayat election.
Sir.
This only gives, my lord, your lordship sees 43(1). After the issue of the notification under section 42, the commission shall by notification appoint the dates for various stages of election in the manner as follows. The first one, A, the last date for making nomination, which shall be not later than 21 days. Okay. Oh, my lord, I'm sorry. Copy ache? Well, if your lordship wants, well, it says that after the issue of the notification under section 42, the commission shall, by notification, appoint the dates for various stages of election in the manner as follows. The last date for making nomination, which shall not be later than 21 days, but earlier than 35 days before the date fixed for the poll. So, my lord, 21 days and 35 days. This is, my lord, the starting point and the ending point.
But where does it say it shall not exceed 7 days?
No, it doesn't say so. No, it doesn't say so.
But in the general elections, what is the time given? Normally.
34% uncontested time.
For the parliament elections also.
For their petition, they had given a representation 24th. If you have the RP Act, getting a protection. So they knew that the elections were in the offing even on 24th April. So this is the election, the first petition 286.
42 seats in Bengal.
The list of dates for the first petition.
Time given.
So on the 24th April, they knew.
They knew.
42 seats and 75,000 seats.
There's one decision.
This will be an extra.
India Lok Sabha 7 days.
In the first petition. Charter of demands on behalf of West Bengal Pradesh Council ensure violence-free peaceful panchayat election. The list of candidates for the query.
No, I had one. Some judgment.
ছোট করে এটা নিশ্চিত আরো ছোট
আমাদের এই annexes গুলো না দিলে how do I show? If the annexes are not there to the report, then what? তো সেটা না দিয়ে তুমি একটু বলতে তো সেটার জন্য দুটো কপি করতে বলছে তো দুবার দিয়েছে
If we push this date, all dates have to be pushed. So if according to the commission,
yes,
the last date of making nominations is extended till 16th June, then consequently all the dates have to be postponed.
Keeping that in mind, my lord, 1 day's extension has been suggested. Keeping that in mind, 1 day. My lord, what I submit here, my lord, may I hand up to your lordship this?
Time আছে
Yours is out. Annexure is dated. Joseph ki dichi annexure nahi. There is no annexure at all.
Oh, I see. No, 17th.
This is the schedule. দেখুন কবে কি কি হবে
21 to 35.
Yeah.
nomination 17th last date for withdrawal
এটা কবে দিয়েছি?
এটা repetition
Time আছে তো।
first repetition
Correct.
first repetition
No, no.
286
16th is the last day for filing nomination. 16th.
আপনি করতে পারছেন 43 যাবে 41 51 21 days minimum for one
it would have been a অসুবিধা হবে
it for making salary 21 days earlier than 35.
Well, I want to draw your lordship's attention to two things. First is, my lord, kindly see the list of dates annexed to the petition, my lord, WPA number 286 of Adir Ranjan Chaudhary. Kindly, my lord, take the list of dates which is annexed to that. The whole thing is set out there. They knew on 24th April 2023, they knew that the election is going to be held. So I'm sure, my lord, they must have been ready with their
Two page number.
my lord, the first page, list of dates. This WPA 286.
Yes.
Kindly see, 24th April, petitioner herein made a representation addressed to the West Bengal State Election Commission. So on 24th April, they knew. 8 June 2023, notification issued by the Secretary, Department of Panchayat and Rural Development, Government of West Bengal, and the press note issued by the West Bengal State Election Commission. 9 June, notification issued by the West Bengal State Election Commission and appointment dates for the nomination, etc. by the West Bengal State Election Commission under Section 43 of the West Bengal Panchayat Election Act. And the public notice inviting nomination for election by the District Panchayat Election Officer under Section 44 of the West Bengal Panchayat Election Act. 15 June 2023, the last date for making the nomination. 17 June 2023, the date for scrutiny of nomination. 20th June 2023, the last date for withdrawal of the candidature. 8th day of July 2023, the date on which the poll shall. Now, my lord, what I am submitting before lordship is this, that 1 day's extension will not disturb this schedule. But more than that, it will not disturb the schedule. My lord, what I am submitting, that quite apart from anything else, lordship kindly sees, if I may just hand up to your lordship, my lord, I have handed up, my lord, the report without the annexures. I am so sorry about it. My lord, may I hand up to your lordship this annexure? Kindly see, my lord, the annexure to this. Yes, yes. Copy doc.
I can give I'll give my copy, my lord. The second copy I'll give.
I am so grateful to you.
That's fine.
Well, I gave it to my learned friend for his perusal, my lord. I'm sorry. Kindly see, my lord. The first annexure is 22nd April 27 May 2022. The date for making nomination 2nd June. If your lordship calculates 7 days. Then, my lord, kindly take the earlier one. 2nd April 2018. 2nd April it was issued.
Sorry for interruption.
It's 7 days.
This notification was published on 27th May.
Yes.
But the date for filing nomination was fixed on 2nd June.
2nd June.
That appears to be their grievance.
27.
On Friday, it was published 11 a.m. On Friday itself, it commenced.
Well, this is
So you have given a buffer of 28, 29, 30.
31st.
31st, 1st, 2nd.
First, 5 days buffer. And
Is
on
it-
the 6th day,
No, my lord, sorry, I'm my lord, perhaps rather weak in mathematics. 27, 28, 29, 30th, 31st, 1st, 2nd. 2nd June, 6 days. No objection. That was in 2022.
that's true, sir.
No, but
Actually,
then
what
kindly
is-
take over, turn over the next page. 2nd April 2018, the last date for making nomination 9th April. It was not more than this.
No, no.
And
correct.
there are no objection.
Probably the time span between making nominations, scrutiny, withdrawal, then date of poll, etc. Probably this time schedule is there.
Lordship.
Their first point was the notification was issued on Friday.
Right.
Filing of nomination started on Friday at 11 a.m.
Yes.
That's their objection. There was no window for them to.
I must frankly confess to your lordship, it's a reasonable objection. I cannot.
Regarding, of course, the administration also, they had to make arrangements for receiving the nominations, the handing over of the physical handing over of the nomination papers, and sufficient infrastructure for receiving it, giving acknowledgement. That window the BDO or SDO should have. So all of a sudden, unless and until there is already preparedness.
Well, generally, what happens is they are ready with their nominations.
And we read in the newspapers there was some in Birbhum and other districts there was something, and there was a meeting called by the Excellency the Governor with the State Election Commission, and something has happened. That's the only catch.
One person
If
died.
suppose they had issued the notification on Friday, that is on 9th July.
Yes.
And let us assume 9th June.
Yes.
And commence the filing of nomination from 16th June.
Yes.
They would have the administration as well as the intending candidates, whatever party they may belong to, would have had a reasonable time to
So
choose.
we shall make it 16 June. If your lordship so I do not want to stand because we want a fair election.
Correct, sir. We made it clear from after hearing the submissions of the learned advocates that there is no attempt on the part of the petitioner to stall the elections. All that they want is to be free, fair, etc.
Yeah, I'm sure
the
about
commission
that.
will ensure. Definitely, the commission will ensure. So we want a realistic schedule. That's all.
Absolutely.
Everybody gets an opportunity.
I am proceeding on the basis that my learned friends' clients are wanting a free and fair election. And I am sure about that.
It's a public interest, sir.
Right.
There may be independent candidates also. Forget about the political parties.
Absolutely.
They have an organized setup. There will be people to help them.
Correct.
Because I don't know what are all the details which are required to be furnished. If suppose asset declaration has to be done, criminal antecedents has to be disclosed, any other criteria. It may take time for a person to gather those details, assuming he is an independent candidate.
But 7 days was found to be all right, well, not always.
7 days, you give that window from the date of notification. You start it from a reasonable time. Of course, now it has started. You please think over and give us a schedule so that...
I was suggesting this, subject to your lordship's pleasure. Your lordship has seen this particular schedule. 9th June, instead of 15th June, if it is 16th of June, as is suggested by your lordship, then 16th of June, then 17th, 20th, and 8th, other dates will not be disturbed. So that can be done. And perhaps that will not meet with any objection from my learned friends. I do not know.
No, that is subject to what they say.
No.
Because if it had been published on 9th June,
yes,
and as per the previous election annexure 1,
that is up to
27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1st, 5 days were there. From the date of publication to the date on which the nomination to be filed, 5 clear days were before. Thereafter, the schedule is right. As per 43.
5 or 6. Well, sorry, my lord.
I'm excluding the date of notification.
Okay, I see. Very good.
Probably in the General Classes Act,
yes. Under the Limitation Act, that's what we do.
Yeah. Yes. So we exclude 27.
Yes.
Because it is published, whether it's a e-gazette or a physical gazette.
10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th.
This is a e-gazette. This notification is a e-gazette or physically?
Physical.
It is one published. So, my lord, if your lordship excludes 9th, then my lord, we get 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th.
No.
It's 6 days.
Yes.
I am excluding 9th.
10,
11th Sunday.
12.
Holidays, my lords, in between.
10th is Saturday.
Because Sunday is a holiday.
That's right.
Saturday
also, my lords.
Saturday is also a holiday.
Yes.
For the High Court, it's a holiday.
রোববার কি বন্ধ থাকবে?
So therefore, of course, we'll keep aside holidays. If they are open for receiving the nomination right, at least that window of 5 days can be given, it will be helpful. So that all this, the sort of tension, In fact, we read in the newspapers only, somebody is complaining that sufficient number of nomination papers were not available. There is a scramble, etc. If suppose it had been published in advance in the website of the commission, they could have downloaded, taken printed copies, unless it has got a facsimile number, unless it's got a security number or a security
I do
code.
not think, my lord, there is any complaint with regard to that as yet.
Already. Sir, any sample of the nomination form is available?
At the moment,
No, statute it's there.
Form 2 is the form, my lords. Just take out form 2.
if your lordship look at the West Bengal Panchayat election rules in that book,
Yes, what is the form number?
Form 2, at page, if it is the same book, page 198.
Most of it. A lot of things to be done.
Parties are ready with this.
No, there are no enclosures to be filed along with the nomination.
It doesn't look like it, my lord.
Person coming from reserved constituency, for example, has to give the caste certificate. One of the
No,
problems
asset declaration is not
doesn't seem to be envisaged, my lords.
criminal antecedents.
It has to be filed whether any criminal case is pending against.
There has to be an
No,
affidavit.
where is that column, sir?
That doesn't seem to be finding place here, my lords.
No, I saw some other form. It should be there somewhere.
Sir, मोटा बोही हमको जरा दीजिए ना. I'll find it out for you.
Just check it.
I'll find it first.
It will furnish by candidate along with nomination paper. It's a
Page 365.
supported by any documentary.
It doesn't seem to be.
That is what I'm instructing with mention. Form. Form में जो declaration টা নিচ্ছে, ওই declaration it does not have to be accompanied by any supporting documents.
The assets and declaration.
Page 365.
Form 1. Form 1 appointment.
What is that?
That is the government book. There is a manual issued by the government. Every nomination paper.
It clearly
A
asks. for-
declaration is good enough, it seems, from the form.
Hmm?
A declaration is good enough.
That's true, but then these particulars have to be filled up, sir. You please see.
Yes, yes, there are plenty.
I have I have in the past been convicted of a criminal offense details, section, case number, etc.
Right.
The following cases are pending against me in which cognizance have been taken, section, act, case number, court. Over the page. I hereby give the details of the assets of myself, my spouse and dependents. Dependent means a person substantially dependent on the income of the candidate. Cash in hand, cash in books, etc. Then I hereby give details of my liabilities of financial institution, local bodies and government, loans from bank, etc. Then
This is the form 2 nomination.
I, the person above named, do hereby declare the contents to be true, etc. Signature of the candidate, signed by before me, PRO, APRO. So it's not before the notary public.
No, it doesn't look like it.
PRO is public relations. PRO of the concerned panchayat, is it?
Yes. What is
Then
it?
it is-
PRO?
Returning
Panchayat returning officer.
Panchayat return.
Panchayat returning officer.
Then this will take time. Definitely it will take time.
Well, it doesn't take time because one of the last two elections, my lord, within 7 days they were filed. They are ready with it, my lord. Since 24th April 2020.
But then
If they say that these are
20,000 seats went uncontested.
But if you can maintain the same time gap, excluding the date of notification, 9th June,
What is your lordship? What is your lordship?
what our thought process
Yes.
is,
I would like to.
we will go by the past practice. We will exclude 9th June,
Very well.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 5 clear days. From 15th let us compute the date for filing of nominations, 6 days, as per the earlier schedule. And you just, reschedule the remaining dates matters over.
Yes.
That will be reasonable.
Then the last date of submission of nomination will be which date, my lord? I'm sorry, my lord, to ask you questions. I'm so sorry, my lord.
No. Let us take the notification and start reworking.
But we thought that since
So exclude 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th.
The start is really 15th.
So it will start from
15th.
15th. Filing of nominations will start from 15th, 15/6.
Yeah.
15/6. Lick. 15/6 start. Sunday. 15/6 will start.
21/6 will be the last date.
It will be commencement date will be 16.
23/6 will be the
Sunday. It will be
scrutiny.
Very good.
26/6 will be the last date for withdrawal.
He's saying 15/6, 22/6 is scrutiny.
12, 26. Let us compare with page 54.
20th June to 8th July. How many days?
15th,
20th.
14th.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
They are giving us. So they are giving us 16th, 19th, 20. It was 25 days. 6 days.
After the last date of filing of nomination, there has to be a gap of between 21 to 35 days.
21 days. 26th.
সেই ভাবে শিডিউল আমরা 8 জুলাই বলেছি তো আজকে যদি লেটেস্ট যে
21st, 23rd, 26th, this 26th হলে কতদিন আছে?
26 যদি লাস্ট ডেট অফ ফাইলিং নমিনেশন 21st বলছি তো
20th.
21st 22nd
21 days.
1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th 16 দিন হচ্ছে 21 দিন হচ্ছে
21st July.
16 days হচ্ছে
21st কতদিন?
That's a 17, 18, 19,
21 days from the withdrawal.
Established হচ্ছে last date for withdrawal of candidate.
So यहाँ पे calculate.
15 June যেটা ছিল 21st.
From 26th if it is 21. And if it is from 22nd, 21,
ঠিক আছে আমি একদিন বলেছি
26th.
20th June to 8th July, 18 days.
So we are actually getting
From 26th.
21 দিন কতদিন ক্যালকুলেট করব?
তাই জন্য 16th এর হচ্ছে 21 দিন লাস্ট ডেট 16th হলে 17, 18, 19, 20
21 তারিখে হলে তুমি বলো না ক্যালকুলেটর বলো না কত
This
কবে
gap
হবে?
is 8.
সময় দেখুন 40 কি বলবে
21 days over তাই 16th হলে 71 days
41 section 41.
From 26/6, if it is 18 days, what will be the date?
18 days, my lords, then 4 days in June, from 26th up to 30th of June. So that makes it 4 days. Then 14 days, that side, my lords. 14 July. 14 plus 4, 18.
So it will be 14 July.
14 July.
No, it cannot
So
be. It has to be 18th July.
There should be 35 days gap between the last date for withdrawal of nomination and my lord
that gap we will maintain.
21
Yes.
days gap.
9th June, we give that window of 5 days has been given earlier. So filing of nomination should commence not later than 15/6. Then same time gap we will maintain 21/6, 23/6, 26/6. The 26/6 will be the last date for withdrawal. As per your schedule, you have given 18 days for the poll. It will be 14/7.
No, 18 days, 21 days.
21.
It has to be 21.
Can I, my lords, once
চেঞ্জ
they have
যদি হয়
responded,
যদি
I wanted to say
8 জুলাই জায়গায় 14 জুলাই হয় তাহলে কি হয়?
I just wanted to highlight, my lords, 2-3 aspects subject to my lord's convenience, my lords. My friend would bear me out for a minute, my lords. My friend would bear me out. Whatever has fallen from my lords is the practical side, my lords, where availability of the infrastructure itself to deal with the nominations. That's one part of it. Completely, my lords, unavailable. Number 2, availability of the nomination papers themselves and other things to be organized by, my lords, the candidates themselves. That's the second part. Third part, my lords, is where people have to file nominations all over the state. We are looking at 73,000 seats, my lords. In fact, my lords, their submission that under the RP Act, time is given only for 6 days or 7 days, will not be opposite at all, for the simple reason, in West Bengal, you're looking at 42 seats for the parliament. And for the state, it's a few hundred. Whereas here,
294.
298. Whereas, my lords, for the Gram Panchayats, at 3 levels, we were pointing out, my lords, I've seen, my lords, 73,000 seats. This is therefore the practical side of it, my lords. 3-tier level, 73,000 seats. This is the practical side of it. Please see one more aspect. They are repeatedly speaking about the past. My lords were kind enough to immediately point out how even there 5-6 days time was given to react.
5 days.
5 days time, my lords. In fact, we look at it broadly, it's about 6 days, my lords. There's time given to react. Now, the story doesn't end there in respect of the last elections. The problem in the last election was as many as 20,000 seats out of 38,000 seats in which one party won, they won uncontested.
No nomination.
No nominations could be filed. It's a matter of record.
For the shortage of time.
Now, this is, my lords, the most important part. Our writ petition, one of the points we have sought to highlight, my lords, is that it is a matter of public knowledge, my lords, with this kind of a schedule. On the last occasion, my lords, 20,000 seats out of 73,000 people got elected uncontested.
All by them. All by the ruling districts.
Now, one important aspect, my lords, I want to highlight in this. The filing of nomination is perhaps, my lords, the most important threshold, my lords, entry point for the Gram Panchayat system itself. The Panchayat Raj system brought into the constitutional scheme, my lords, has an avowed objective. At, my lords, the grassroots levels, it must be ensured that persons are able to contest and participate into the day-to-day administration. Now, if even for filing of nominations, there is no time given to react. My lord, the Chief Justice pointed out about independent candidates. Please now set aside for the time being the people under the organized structure of a party system. What about all the other individual candidates, my lords? How will anybody be able to react? Now, in my respectful submission, my apologies for saying it, my lords, without really getting contentious on this. It cannot be, my lords, that the state government looks at the whole thing as some kind of an attempt, my lords, to really, my lords, say that here I have pulled
Not the state government, it's the election commission.
No, in fact, the state announced it on the 8th, my lords, and the election commission, my lords, does it. In fact, 42 envisages date fixed by the state government in consultation with the election commission. Therefore, surely, my lords, we cannot have a situation where there is a repeat of what happened on the earlier occasion. In fact, the Honorable Supreme Court took note of the submissions on behalf of one political party in this regard, though the matter was decided on other points. But the fact that 20,000 seats were won and decided uncontested is specifically taken note of. Today, we are left with the same position here. In fact, a step worse than that, as what is rightly pointed out by my lord, the Chief Justice, at least on the earlier occasion, 6-7 days were given to react. Even there, my lords, there was a problem. Here, it will be much more. 9th morning, my lords, the notification is issued. This is like the proverbial one fine morning, my lords. 9th morning, it is issued. 11 o'clock, they say the time starts. Here is the race against time for you. Seems to have been the intention. I'm giving you from today, you see how best you can file. In fact, if I may add, my lords, to it, the election commissioner was appointed on the 7th evening.
7th evening.
7th evening, he takes charge. I really wonder, my lords, what kind of consultation could have taken place, what kind of preparatory review would have taken place at this instance. And how is it that, my lords, today...
We read in the papers that he is called for a all-party meeting tomorrow.
After that, that's now post all this. Today, the schedule is a fait accompli. The schedule today is a fait accompli, my lords.
I think something needs to be done on this.
And one more thing I wanted to highlight, my lords. Please, if my lords may bear me out for a minute more on this point, my lords. My lords have seen the statute. It's not as if it's like a stone edict written on stone. Please see the provision where it envisages the commission extending time. Just have a look at that, my lords. Give me 43.
43.
Just see 43 again for a minute, my lords. It's not as though these time frames are frozen.
Absolutely.
42 first, my lords.
The state government shall,
in consultation with the commission by notification appoint the date or dates and hours or hours of poll for any election or by election. Now, 43 is important. Where after the issuance of the notification under 42, the commission shall by notification appoint the dates for various stages of the election in the manner as follows. My lords have seen this part. Just see with me again for a minute, my lords. The last date of making nomination, which shall not be later than 21 days, but earlier than 35 days before the date fixed for the poll. My lords, see the play that is made available under the statute.
14 days.
Between 21 and 35 from the date of the poll. What happens? The problem here is you fix the date of the poll and then you're reworking from backwards and trying to fix it like this, by which you say maximum, all right, some objection is raised, I'll do one more day. But that doesn't really serve the purpose. Please see further, my lords. Then the date for scrutiny of nominations, which can be the second day immediately following the last date for making nominations, or if that day is a public holiday, the next succeeding day, which is not a public holiday. The last date for withdrawal of candidature, which shall be the third day immediately following the date for scrutiny of nominations, or if that day is a public holiday, the next succeeding day, which is not a public holiday, the date of poll, which shall, if necessary, be taken, and the date before which the election shall be completed. Now, please see the proviso. Provided that the commission may, for reasons which it considers sufficient, extend by notification the date for completion of an election.
It's there in the statute.
Therefore, my lords, this is something where, my lords, there are sufficient enabling provisions which give leeway and play, my lords, to ensure that the purpose of, my lords, the election is subserved. You cannot have a situation where I really freeze it in such a manner that the intention is to really say you race against time. If you can, I'll see whether you're smart enough to participate in the elections. The whole purpose of, my lords, the Panchayat Raj institutions will be completely undermined, my lords, if this is the way in which it goes. My lords were kind enough to immediately point out on the previous notification, where at least 5-6 days were given to react.
6 days were given.
6 days were given to react, my lords. Here, nothing at all. And this is apart from, my lords, all the other problems. On the first day, 1% of the nominations have been received. 1%. There is one other problem. My lords felicitously, repeatedly asked about declarations to be made. What kind of declaration has to be made?
Yes.
What kind of records have to be
Statute provides for that.
That's right. Now, it really doesn't stop there, my lords. In respect of reserved constituencies, candidates will have to give proof of the fact that, my lords, they belong to the notified communities. Now, today morning, my lords, the instructions are that the facility of online caste certificates has stopped.
So that they cannot participate.
They will not be able to participate. You have to give
But they'll be carrying a physical certificate issued earlier.
no, those persons
Those who don't have it,
yes,
they're
there
under
will be a
risk of
problem.
doing it.
There will be a
But,
problem.
but the fact remains,
Yes,
as per the statutory format,
yes.
the declaration has to be signed before the PRO.
That's right. In fact, I am obliged to my lords for raising that. The exercise of filing nomination papers is really not like dropping an inland card of those days into a post box. In fact, my lords, we did a very rough and ready calculation. 73,000 seats. You are looking at an average of, let us say, 10 candidates. You are then looking at a certain time period of, what is the exact arithmetic in that? About
6 days, 24 hours time given.
24 hours time, my lords, is given.
4 hours, 6 days.
4 hours each day. So for 6 days, it's about 24 hours. So you divide 73,000 into 10 by these 24 hours. It is roughly about 40 seconds for each candidate to go and put in his papers and the entire exercise to be completed. Because it is 73,000 and odd seats, my lords, we'll take an average of 10 candidates.
6,000.
You take an average of even 5 candidates alone, my lords. We'll proceed on the basis that only the recognized and established political parties are throwing in the hat into the ring. 5-6 of them. So 73,000 into 6 for each constituency. 6 candidates for each constituency, or 5 of them. That still translates about 3.5 lakh or some such thing.
3,65,000.
65,000 papers, nomination papers. Now, those papers will have to be made ready, filed with the authority who has to accept it within a period of 24 hours. 6 days into 4 hours each. The working time is 4 hours, my lords, 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. That's notified. Public holiday is excluded. We are looking at about a minute for each person.
Half a minute.
Half a minute if it is 10 candidates, and a minute if it is 5 candidates. With great respect, my lords, the commission, in my respectful submission, my lords, ought to really, my lords, react in a more
No, in
positive.
fact, that's so Mr. Mitro is also.
I understand, my lords. That's the spirit in which he was responding. I quite see that, my lords.
Sir, only one thing. If you can maintain the same schedule you had followed in 2018.
Yes, 2018.
2018. Let us compare that with this.
Lordship.
If you just push back that starting point,
Yes.
everything will fall in line.
Absolutely.
That was 2nd of April 2018. On 9th of April 2018 was the last date for making nomination.
Well, sorry, I have not been able to follow. Well, dear Lordship,
Sir, in your report,
Yes.
Annexure 1,
yes,
you please have that side by side with the present notification. So,
Lordship.
2nd of April.
Yes.
So it had the nominations
90.
had to start end on 9th. Second. So it has to end on 9th.
Calendar barcode.
8 days.
Let us get the 18 calendar. Sir, this is 2018 calendar. 2018 calendar. You tell me. Whatever child we can give the 2018 calendar. देखिए वो डेट क्या था? 2nd April notification. Then
There were 8 days on the last time.
started from
Here it is 6 days.
last day. Okay.
7 days. 7 days. Sorry.
So 22nd April to 9th
1 day.
April. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. 9th April.
So that is extended in terms of the rule. Every day
9th April उसके बाद से क्या था?
as per the rule section.
11th is the date.
The date of scrutiny
This is 2022 for the municipal.
following the last day of so one. So it will become 18.
In fact, my lords, even that 22 May 2022 notification, my lords, what my lords are kind enough to point out, where it was on 27th May and the filing was up to 2nd June. It was for one particular municipal council.
Only one.
Only one. And
21st. Between that to this, it should be 18 days. As per the
5 दिन के लिए तो nomination जमा नहीं हो पाया. That was the difficulty. That is why we won that. And 2018, the 11th
to prepare the estimate is extended. So that's 14.
16.
no, what happened?
16th April, last
That
date
is
of
why they fixed this 18 days, even in 2023. From the
join. First May date of poll. First May.
In fact, the 18 example, what my lords are now considering also, I pointed out, my lords, 20,000 seats were uncontested.
I will address.
That was something where, my lords, therefore, this schedule with that.
That's all right. But I will say, whatever it likes to say, they are going on saying 20,000, what you have done, 20,000. Straight. অনেক করে
So here,
And, if I may draw your lordship's attention to section 46 once. Your lordship has seen 44, 43. Kindly come to 46. Just on or before the date appointed under clause A of section 43, each candidate shall, either in person or by his proposer, between the hours may be prescribed, delivered to the Panchayat returning officer at the place specified in this behalf in the notice issued under Section 44, a nomination paper completed in the prescribed form and signed by the candidate and by a voter of the constituency as proposer, provided that no nomination paper shall be delivered to the Panchayat, etc. Then 2.
On a public holiday.
Then, without prejudice to the generality of the provisions contained in subsection 1, if the Commission, on receipt of the complaints from the intending candidates or the recognized political parties, either from or through the district Panchayat election officer or its own machinery or any other agency, is satisfied that there is a reasonable apprehension or prevention of or obstruction to the intending candidates from making nomination at the place or before the authority for the Gram Panchayat and the Panchayat Samiti constituencies specified in the notice under Section 44, the Commission may by order issue a direction to the Panchayat returning officer appointed for any block to depute one assistant Panchayat returning officer at the office of the sub-divisional officer having jurisdiction for receiving nomination papers with the specified date and from the intending candidates for one or more of the Gram Panchayat or Panchayat Samiti constituency as the case may be. The next proviso is important. Provided that the Commission may also, by the said order, extend the last date for making nomination for 1 day. And also direct that all the nomination papers received under subsection 1 and 2 for any Gram Panchayat or Panchayat Samiti constituency as the case may be, shall be taken up by the Panchayat returning officer. My Lord, I respectfully submit to your Lordship that so far as we are concerned, I am not, my Lord, in any way affected by the internecine quarrel, allegation, counter-allegation. I have to ensure that free and fair election takes place. That is my only concern. For the purpose of that, whatever I have to do, I shall do. But, my Lord, my hands are tied in the sense that I am constrained by the provisions of this Act and the rules framed thereunder. So I cannot go outside that, this way or that way. That is why, my Lord, 1 day's extension I am submitting to your Lordship is because that is what is permitted by the Act, not otherwise. That is why I am respectfully submitting to your Lordship, my Lord. If your Lordship directs, my Lord, the extension in the way your Lordship has been pleased to think about it, then perhaps, my Lord, the schedule which has been framed by me,
has to be changed.
It will get upset.
No doubt.
Get upset.
Even if it is for 1 day, as agreed by the Commission, if it's going to be 1 day in terms of the proviso to subsection 2 of 46, the entire schedule has to be pushed back because you have given a window of 18 days from the date of withdrawal till the date of vote.
Absolutely.
And one more thing is, this 3 hours for submission of nomination appears to be little inadequate.
11 to 3, 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
11 o'clock to 3.
No, we are hearing the Commission
4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours.
That needs to be extended as per the Act, as the public holidays needs to be excluded. So Saturday and Sunday is a public holiday in the state, so we need to exclude that. And
what I've been instructed to submit to your Lordship, that what happens is this: if a queue is formed for the purpose of filing nomination, and 3 o'clock is the deadline it comes, that does not mean, my Lord, we close the shutter. My Lord, it goes on till 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, until, my Lord, the last man in the queue has already submitted.
no, so that needs to be made clear. Because from what it appears is that there is a time frame of about 3 hours. That appears to be 4 hours.
4 hours.
Appears to be inadequate. Probably, sir, one thing, sir, let us have a realistic look. Forget about who are the petitioners, etc.
Well, can this be done? Very well, my Lord, just since it's fallen from your Lordship, I'm thinking. But can this be done? Instead of 3 o'clock, we make it 5 o'clock. And for 6 days, if it is that, or 7 days, if it is that, then considerable period of time will be obtained.
Probably in the last election, they were consciously fixing a later time limit, bearing in mind that the nomination papers have to be made ready. In terms of section 46 3, the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe or backward class candidate
Yes.
should be accompanied by a copy of the certificate of the scheduled caste or scheduled tribes or backward granted by the competent.
They are ready, my lord.
Original copy shall be produced at the time of delivery
Yes, of course.
of such nomination.
Well, what happens is this, my lord.
So some reasonable time schedule.
Well, I tell you, lordship, but if your lordship allows me to, I take my son for admission to a school. I know exactly what documents will be required. The PAN card, the birth certificate, etc. I am ready with those. I go there with those things. Therefore, my lord, it is not that suddenly something is being slapped upon him. You produce this or you produce that. It is not.
As on date, how many nominations have been filed?
Yes, more than 10,000 has already been submitted, and we are expecting that by that.
It's going on today also.
It is going on.
So let it go on. You extend the time limit and you postpone reschedule the dates, maintaining the same time period. Because the proviso to subsection 1 provides the commission may, for reasons which it considered sufficient, extend by notification the date of completion of any election. So therefore, there's sufficient power. So their apprehension is what happened in 2018 shouldn't be repeated now. Obviously, the commission's endeavor also should be the same, as because it's a free and fair election, everybody gets an opportunity. Forgetting about the organized political parties, and there are many a times, at least I have known, that certain panchayats are very, very strongholds of independent candidates.
Yes.
So because of the work they have done in the locality,
yes, quite
the
possible.
People have reposed so much of confidence, and they are very clear about it. They don't want to be aligned with any of the political parties. That has been a phenomenon from the state from I hail from. It has been there. In fact, we have had members of the legislative assemblies as independent candidates. So the because of the notification.
At least 4 साल होगा तो 3 लाख nomination जाएगा, 10,000 nomination गया है. How is that at all matters? Total अगर 4 करके 5 करके 3.5 लाख nomination जाएगा. Amongst 3.5 lakhs, only 3 days, 10,000 nomination has gone. How is it even possible? And this 46 will come after 43. He's asking me what I am telling you. I was telling sir that we have the occasion to.
After the elections are notified, notice of notification already. The election officer is the district magistrate. Form 1 and office of election calling. Section 11 judge statutory board. But whoever is in the line will
the only issue will be there. If you need to postpone the date of poll from 8th July, in terms of subsection 2, it shall be by the state government. The satisfaction of the state government. If commission records reasons in writing, and the state government needs to be satisfied, then it can be postponed.
Yes.
What is 43?
I suppose so. Because of the proviso.
Section 2 of section 43.
That's right. That's true, Manoj.
Well, there is another
Commission cannot do it. No, I follow, my lords. But the only point is that, my lords, the power has been made available to the commission, my lords, to extend. Because ultimately it's the commission, my lords, which has to carry out the extent.
Form an opinion, then
Correct.
refer it to the state government.
No, just have a look at the proviso for a minute again, my lords. Just have a look at that. One second. Provided that the commission may, for reasons which it considers sufficient, extend by notification the date for completion. So really it's the commission itself.
Subsection 2.
Yes. Where the commission at any time after the issue of notification under 42 is of the opinion that it is not possible to hold election on the date or date so notified by the state government under the said section for reasons which it considers sufficient and justified, shall refer the matter to the state government, and the state government shall, on being satisfied with the reasons shown by the government, revoke the earlier notification, and the commission shall consequently revoke the notification if any issued by it under so and so.
So the
No,
state
my lords,
government
there, just 1 minute, my lords. I'm so sorry. This, my lords, is a case of revocation. The scenario we are looking at, my lords, is extension.
Yes.
That's the difference, my lords. Please see, 2 is
But
a scenario
what will
where
be the effect? Extension will automatically result in revocation of the
automatically, no, in fact, my lord, that's where the statute, in my respectful submission, makes a distinction between extension, my lords, and revocation. Please see the language used. If you see 43.2, 43.1, 43.1 is the schedule itself, where dates are given.
Yes.
And then the proviso says commission can, and that too by notification, which means on its own, can extend the date for completion of any election. Please distinguish this from 43.2. There, the commission tells the state government, I cannot conduct the election.
Even after
Please revoke it. Then in that case, my lords, please see where the commission at any time.
Possible to hold the election.
Yeah, correct. That's right.
But election.
Correct.
But I will extend by notification the date of completion.
I bow down, my lords. I bow down. And one more thing, my lords, this is supported well by the language of the statute. For this reason, please see 43.2, the last part.
Yes.
43.1, my lords, talks of extending. 43.2 talks about revoking.
Yes.
In fact, my lords, because it is revocation, the state government is brought into the picture.
Because of 42.
I bow down.
Because the initial dates.
Initial, my lords, is by the state government.
Unless this earlier.
This is extension. And the statute consciously uses the language commission by notification may extend the date. Whereas here,
What shall we do, sir? Whether we leave it to your opinion to come back?
My lord, this is I am thinking aloud. I may be wrong, because this act, my lord, I had the occasion to deal with this particular act and the rules. It's highly complicated. Kindly, my lord, just for my interest, kindly come to page 196 once more. Kindly see, I suggested that the time can be extended. Now I'll have to correct my submission. Kindly see,
This is 2013.
page 196,
Date of issue of notification 29th May.
the paragraph 2 of the notice of notice of election of the form. Nomination papers may be
So 11
delivered
to
by
3.
11 to 3.
But
11 to 3.
does not mean 11 to 3 in that sense.
11 to 3. Well, I have got to proceed on the. Well, the problem is this, my lord. Wherever I go, kindly, my lord, now come back to subsection 2.
Power under the
That is why 14 days.
My lord, kindly come back to
section 2.
time to দিয়েছে।
I think subsection 1 is a separate compartment,
Yes.
not to be read into subsection 2.
Yes.
subsection 2. Your
Subsection
lordship.
2 is commission takes a stand. Sorry, I am unable to hold the election.
My lord, if I may, my lord, respectfully submit your lordship, kindly again come back to this subsection 2. I am emphasizing on 2 words. Where the commission at any time after the issue of the notification under section 42 is of the opinion that it is not possible to hold the election on the date or dates so notified. Kindly see, so notified. How is the notification made?
42.
Yes, 42 notification. Notified. Then, my lord, kindly come to, I am not troubling your lordship in the middle, revoke the earlier notification.
Yes.
This notification, in pursuance of which, my lord, I have that you file your nomination by the 9th of June or whatever it is. My lord, this notification has to go. I have got to issue a fresh notification. And that cannot be done without consulting, my lord, the state government.
No, the notification under 42 is for conducting elections.
Yes.
Yes, not for the date.
And the fix the date on. Yes, and fixing the date as 8th July.
Yes.
Subsection 1 of 42,
43, my lord.
43 provides for extending by notification
Yes.
the completion of any election process.
Yes.
Power vests with the commission.
42 is only the date of poll.
My lord, can I do that without reference to the state government?
Only date of poll.
Even then, there's a time involved. Because, for example, for filing
The
nomination,
date of pool will be notified under 40 days. That's why there's 21 days and 35 days.
এটা change হতে পারে।
But then this will lose significance. Extend by notification. No, here it is. They
The
don't
only
say-
pool of the state government.
There and this includes this notification.
For nomination, only one extension.
So even after extending, he can say that I cannot conduct.
But the problem will be, if you fix it, then the in-between dates are also prescribed under this method.
When he says I
That cannot
can,
be shortened. 2 days, 3 days. So eventually, 8 July needs to be pushed back. Suppose we say that 8 July 2023 is sacrosanct.
That to center, yes.
It can't be pushed back. Then, in terms of the provisions of the Act, there is a clear time frame between making of nomination, scrutiny, withdrawal.
Right.
So that time frame cannot be reduced.
That's right.
So eventually, if the commission is to extend by notification the date of completion of any election, 8th July needs to be pushed back.
yes,
Only thing is, if 8th July has to be pushed back, will subsection 2 of section 43 come into play?
That's right.
16th July.
Precisely. And in my respectful submission, it cannot and it will not. For the simple reason, my lords, 43(1) is compartment for extension by commission because it says by notification. And it says extend. The expression used is very important, my lords. Extend the date for completion of any election. Whereas, my lords, 43(2) talks about revocation.
But 42 says,
Yes.
state government in consultation with the
Yes.
commission,
Yes.
by notification, appoint the date or dates and hours of the poll
Correct, my
for
lords.
any election.
That's
or
correct.
by-election.
That's right.
So that date is frozen by the state government's notification
Correct.
under 42 in
Correct.
consultation with the commission.
That's correct.
Now, suppose the commission says that I want to extend
Yes.
by notification
Yes.
the date of completion of any election.
Yes.
Can it push back the date
Yes.
fixed under 42?
It can, my lords, for the reason that the proviso to 43(1) operates on its own force. Because it's the statute envisages notification by the commission, no, my lords, discussion with the state government. Please contrast this, distinguish this with 43(2). That's why I'm repeatedly saying, my lords, 43(2) talks of a scenario, addresses a scenario where, my lords, the commission says, I can't hold the elections. It says, no, I'm sorry, I can't hold the elections. The dates what you have given, the elections can't be held.
But the problem is, sir, if suppose we have to retain 8th July,
Your lordship.
16th.
tinkering with the other dates is not possible.
16th is possible.
Well,
It's
if
not
it is
possible.
16th, if your lordship not extends it, if your lordship allows me to extend it by 1 day, as I am entitled to do under section 46,
But,
then
will,
my lord, there is no problem.
but will it be adequate considering
Yes.
the
My lord,
number of seats which are to be, elections have to be?
my lord, only thing is this, my lord, the experience of the
But because that's why we were just thinking aloud. We are not aware as to whether it's going to be online or offline,
we will
physical
argue.
format. Then you have referred to some decision, earlier decision of the court, which was reversed with the Supreme Court. So now actual physical filing of the forms are required. So something has cropped up yesterday, day before yesterday. In between, there are 2 holidays.
my lord, online, my lord, it can't be done.
Can't be done.
No, because
So
the
you have
Supreme
made
Court
it
has so held. The Supreme Court has specifically held that, in fact, my lord, this honorable court passed an order directing, my lord, online submission of nomination form. that was struck down by the Supreme Court in the case of the Communist Party of India in 2018. So, my lord, that is out of the question. So, it has to be physical. And for good reasons.
So one more aspect. Why would
Now, my lord, the problem is this, my lord. This extension, what has been spoken of in the proviso, is an extension, my lord. Last date for making nomination for 1 day. I am looking into the extension. This proviso, I am reading with section 46 proviso. This has to be read together. But my lord, subsection.
Your preparedness is also very important. The preparedness of the officers at BDO level, SDO level, availability of nomination.
My lord,
no, is it
I am instructed, my lord, there is a complete preparation. We have got, my lord, numerous videos, my lord, they are all lined up. My lord, naturally, my lord, once with the state government, in consultation with the state government, my lord, when we announce the date of the election and my lord gives a schedule as to what is to be done, everything has to be in order. Everything. We are ready with, my lord, the videography. We are ready with, my lord, CCTV, wherever it is required. And my lord, the process has started. And we not, it is not that we have been totally caught unaware of it. Everybody knew about it. My learned friends clients knew about it since 24th April, as per the list that has been given.
I would say to this, but we did not knew about it. Going through the representation, the first point that was envisaged was the election to be held in due time. That was a submission we made before the commission. It was not that we were aware. We made certain points categorically that these were the charter of demands that we want this to be implemented for ensuring a violence-free and fair election. That is not something we knew that the election is going to be held. Yes, the election as per the mandate, it is going to be held this year, but it was not, we prayed that it is to be held within the
Now they are agreeable to push back the date by 1 day.
No, that's something, my lord, is completely gone, my lord. There have been instances, there is a supplementary affidavit that will place on records what my learned senior friend was submitting, my lord. On that occasion, my lord, that there was no complaints with regard to non-supplying of these things, my lord. We have brought it on record. We have made specific complaints before the commission with regard to that. Well, that is specifically on record because 2 days completely gone. When before the BDO officers, no form supplied, no DCR receipts were issued.
Nobody was even there to give
there were instances of violence. Even one party worker of the Indian National Congress, he was killed. But there were certain instances, rampant violence all throughout the state. But this is what we will bring that on record.
Violence will have to be taken care of. And my lord, the state, so far as the State Election Commission is concerned, they are getting ready with everything, my lord, so that the violence doesn't take place. I fully sympathize with my learned friend's client if he says that there has been violence. But I am not going to support the violence. The State Election Commission is not going to support the violence. He is going to prevent it, no doubt about it. But what I'm on is this, that this will completely topple the apple cart, if I may use that expression. Because earlier notification has to be revoked. That particular notification which has been issued. And my lord, a new notification has to come in terms of section 42, in sitting with the state government. I'll have to try and find out, my lord, how it. No. This is going to create some complication.
No, if you form an opinion that whatever fell from the courts regarding the time schedule, going by the past experience, this is a reasonable interpretation so that it is not the candidates. It is the electorate who get confidence in the process.
No, of course.
It's not the candidates. Candidates may be in A party, B party, independent, etc. He may go to the B party, right. A will come to B.
Absolutely.
We are not concerned about it.
Correct.
So we are concerned about the electorate. That's the bottom line.
That is the core issue. Yes, of course.
So the Election Commission strives to achieve. What do you mean by saying free and fair election? Yes. Confidence of the electorate should not be shattered. Filing of nomination is one such process. But the process which is of utmost importance is that the electorate should be free to exercise their franchise and they should get confidence in the entire process. How to ensure that? How to ensure that? Because you are an independent body.
Absolutely.
And you have got such wide powers under the Constitution.
Correct.
Such wide powers under the Constitution. You can never be compelled to buckle down under anybody's pressure.
Absolutely.
You are thoroughly independent. Once the notification is issued, you are thoroughly independent. So therefore, the endeavor should be, it's not for the court to say, please do it in this fashion, please do it in that fashion. Court prima facie, we recorded. Prima facie, we felt the time was inadequate. Going by the past example, it still appears to be inadequate. Suppose, let us assume, the commission takes a stand in terms of subsection 2.
Subsection 2, yes.
An interpretation can be given that the opinion of the commission shall be binding on the state.
Yes.
Exactly. Opinion
of the commission
Binding on the state.
if for the under the said section for reasons which consider sufficient and justified, the commission shall refer the matter to the state government, and the state government, on being satisfied with the reasons shown by the commission, revoke the earlier notification.
Right.
The satisfaction of the state government, to what extent? It is you take a decision that considered for sufficient and justifiable reasons that it is not possible within this schedule. And if once you record that submission,
Then, but
so we have got instances like this. Suppose a body which has got recommendatory powers recommends X or Y action to be initiated, and the state or the union government, to what extent they can exercise their plenary powers. So therefore, once what do you say, you are to use the expression, the commission hijacks the entire system to within its fold. So you have absolute control over the officials of the state. You have absolute control to say that you shall not enter this district. He shall not be the district magistrate. He shall not be the super of police. This man cannot be the BDO. He cannot be the SDO. You transfer him. You ask him to go on leave. He will be substituted. Enormous powers.
Entire administration is in there.
Without.
And if you read that TN session
Sessions, I was thinking of that. This is exactly what happened. The complete, deadlock between the union and the commission, the election commission. Well,
The Supreme Court has said, my lords, 324 is really in the nature of a residual power, the vast reservoir of powers which is available to the commission. Wherever, my lords, it has to take a decision for ensuring free and fair elections, it has the power under the constitution.
And
It's a residual reservoir of powers.
Well, the problem is this, these are interlinked, discharge of functions. And I find that, this conduct of election.
Imposition of 144, that's a good move. That was one of the prayers made.
Yeah.
Videography, CCTV.
Yes.
Wherever CCTV
These
is
are all in the pipeline.
And with regard to deployment of forces, you have said that an assessment plan is going to be.
Yes.
no.
So Mr. Mitra was not there in the earlier round. We have dealt with a couple of decisions with regard to religious processions and ceremonies. And in the last order, we have referred to as many as, if I remember right, 8 to 12 orders passed within a span of 4 months by the court number 1, in court number 1 by the former Chief Justice Division Bench,
Commission
all relating to breach of peace, law and order, etc. And in all such cases, direction had to be issued for deployment of central force. So therefore, when we passed the order with regard to the Hanuman Jayanti, we have made an observation that requisitioning of the assistance of a central force should not be taken adversarial. It is to work in tandem with the state force, giving the large number of candidates who will be in the fray. Let us assume at least one candidate will have 10 supporters with him, 15 supporters. So imagine the amount of people who will be roaming around the roads, canvassing, pamphlets, using of whatever you have permitted as propaganda. So, will the state force will be adequate? Will the central force needs to be requisitioned to partner with the state force? Because the election commission, once again, we We read lot of things in the newspaper. In fact, affidavits are there.
Kindly don't. That's how
And the Election Commission has also notified at least 6 districts to be sensitive.
Yes.
6 to 10 districts to be sensitive. So what do we do with those districts? So therefore, some more thought process, of course.
Yes, of course.
In due course. Commission will make this. So regarding deployment of central forces, the commission will make the assessment. The state will not make the assessment.
No, but
So
then again,
the state will deploy his entire.
the suggestion will go from the commission for the purpose of that. But I am respectfully submitting this.
But in all polls, to my knowledge, whichever have come to court or not come to court, there has been deployment of central forces. Because at times it becomes,
Absolutely.
when the state is spread, though you may term a state a small state, large state, but given the land mass, the extent of the area, suppose let us assume you pull out 80% of the force from Kolkata and send them to either Hooghly or Birbhum. What happens to the law and order situation on a day-to-day basis in Kolkata? So that is why when the deployment takes place,
I'm sure the state election commission will take note of this thing.
because that is a reserve force is there.
Yes, of course.
Reserve police force is
I
there.
am
failed on every
submitting this.
We have
The election
failed on all occasions, all earlier occasions.
Report is otherwise.
We have given
Because
my lords
the election commission will make an assessment.
Well, may I just submit only one thing, Malad, regarding making of assessment, Malad, with regard to the dearth of police forces, Malad, it cannot be said that for every polling booth, at least one police personnel could be allocated. Malad, that is for the purpose of assessment that they are going to make. That is something that they have ought to make previously, prior to declaring of the election. Because
we have given
And
my lord
one
the
more thing,
instance
sir, that deployment of the civic volunteers,
That cannot be.
they are not the police.
Yes.
They assist the police, and I am told they are contractual,
Yes.
and they are entitled to participate in the selection for the post of police constable or whatever it is. And I think there is a quota, 10%
Absolutely.
preference or
Absolutely.
something is given. So they can never do anything.
Yes.
Probably during puja,
They cannot register
they
cases.
will be able to in the pandals.
But may I submit to your lordship that what is falling from your lordship today, I'm sure the state election commission is taking note of all
Yes,
this.
definitely.
And my lord, he is going to consider all this.
You just say
The
this, that previously
actual,
submissions were
I
made.
mean, he'll have to take a sort of realistic view.
No,
What is actually on the ground, and thereafter, my lord, he'll have to make up his mind. But it is his mind that is to be made up.
So
And
we are only these by way of this litigation, and what falls from this court is going by what has happened in the past with regard to law and order situation. When there is a congregation, be it religious, be it political, etc., there has been a congregation. At 12 occasions, court had to step in within the window of about
1 year.
3.5 months.
few months.
3.5 to 4 months, 12 such orders had to be passed.
We have
Number one.
an-
Number two is, there is a writ petition saying that, quoting the relevant provisions of the Election Commission of India notification, that temporary contractual employees should not be deployed for
Yes.
election work.
Absolutely.
That is the serial number 1 today.
Hmm.
So that is also an issue they have referred to.
that definitely will be taken
that-
note of. That will
See,
definitely be
that's
considered.
the bottom line is accountability. If I am a contractual worker, what they say, a Badli worker has been nominated as a poll officer.
No.
They have given some instances. I don't know.
No.
We don't know about
A
it.
contractual employee being appointed as the poll officer, that is in the law itself. I am not incorporating anything.
So that is item serial number 1 today.
Yes,
That is that.
I shall come to that.
So that needs to be addressed.
Yes, that needs to be.
And regarding deployment of central forces, it is the assessment of the commission which needs to be done. And please let the commission be aware of the orders which were passed by this court.
Just
We
5
We have
minutes.
given the details, my lords, of those orders, page 83 of our petition. We have given the details of all the orders which have been passed by court
Yep.
from last October, November, my lords, until
In
May.
fact, Deputy Solicitor gave a
Yes.
compilation of
Compilation.
all the orders.
In the Ram Navami, matter.
Copies of those orders.
I have given to Mr. Kumar. Lord, in the Ram Navami matter, you lordship has recorded everything. I have given that.
I have a copy of that. My lord.
Lord, we-
Print-
Lord,
Let them all get exhausted, then Mr. Pandapati will
They have
start.
got it. 5 installments, election commission have got it. At least
No,
at least 1 hour, 30 minutes I am waiting.
My friend will have 8 plus 5, 13.
You have come, you will get. Once I can, because I want to say something.
Yes, sir, please. Sir.
Not something why I want to.
Can I just take the
basic distinction?
Can I take a minute, Malot? I have a phone call to attend, Malot. I'll just come back. My friends are here.
I'll
just come back.
First question, please. First question was, why not 1 day after the notification has been made? That's if I have understood. But that is a basic distinction between this State Act and the Parliament Election Act. Here the notification takes effect. Immediately the notification is published. And there, under the Central Act, I am telling you, Lord, on 9th June 2023 itself, Bharatiya Janata Party, Jila Parishad seat, 14 candidates have now filed nominations. CPIM 1, INC 0, All India Trinamool Congress 9, total 24 so far Jila Parishad. Panchayat Samiti, BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, they are there. Still now they are the highest. 95. CPIM 46. INC 4. AITC 41. Independent 3. Your Lordship was asking independent. Why the independent? Independent never contest in the Jila Parishad. Unless he is a dummy candidate. Normal experience speaks. IND 3. Independent. Total 192. Gram Panchayat, Bharatiya Janata Party 568. On the day your losses have entertained. CPIM 313. Indian National Congress 59. All India Forward Bloc 3. AITC 146. Independent 33. Others 18. Total. This is on 9th. 10th. Jila Parishad, 10th is Saturday. Saturday is not a public holiday. Kindly, only Sunday is the public holiday. Jila Parishad, Bharatiya Janata Party 41. CPIM 94. Indian National Congress 7. All India Forward Bloc 1. AITC 1. Independent 2. Others 26. Total 173. Panchayat Samiti. Bharatiya Janata Party 624. Know anything? I don't know anything. This is not an academical questions we are discussing. In reality, what is happening also kindly see. 624 Bharatiya Janata Party. CPIM 517. Indian National Congress 73. All India Forward Bloc 7. All India Trinamool Congress 110. Independent 49. Others 41. 1421. Gram Panchayat. BSP. That Socialist Party, Mayawati's party. BSP. 4. BJP 4,238. Insufficient times. CPIM 3,638. Indian National Congress 637. All India Forward Bloc 34. All India Trinamool Congress 522. Others, independent 250. One thing is academical discussion, another thing is real discussion.
Malad, for the timing, election commission ought to have said these are the data to be available with the election commission. How does the state have a stake in saying all this? How does the state of West Bengal have a stake in saying all these things?
You want to be heard or you don't want to be heard?
Malad, I apologize.
Now, Malad, therefore,
maintain the decorum.
Malad, now this is not that they did not have any notice, they don't knowledge.
So going by the figures, if the sum total will be around 15 to 16,000 nominations have been filed. 15 to 16,000 nominations have been filed.
1,000.
15 or 15,000 or 16,000,
Right.
putting all together.
Yes, yes. That's
So we are not here on party basis. We are not here on who are the faces who are facing the election, who are there, etc. As we are repeating, at the risk of repetition, we say we are looking to the electorate.
correct.
We are going to elect the representatives who are supposed to represent them. You keep on fighting. Inward, you keep on fighting.
I am not on
That's
fighting.
not the concern of the
But
court.
I am
75,000 seats. 75,000 seats.
correct.
So we are just examining, because the commission is also not ours in examining what
It's an hour or hours of poll for any election or by-election. No one has said in the petition the date which was fixed for election under section 42 was whimsical, arbitrary, and it has been challenged. Correct? Number one. Number four, then 43 come. After the issue of the notification under section 42, the commission shall by notification appoint the dates for various stages of election in the manner as follows. Then we have first the last date for making nomination, which shall be not later than 21 days, but earlier than 35 days before the date fixed for the, here it was 23 days on my calculation. The date for the scrutiny of nomination, which shall be second day, immediately following the last date for making nomination. If that day is a public holiday, the next subsequent day, which is not a public holiday. The last date for withdrawal of a candidate, which shall be the third day, immediately following the date for scrutiny of nomination, or if that day is a public holiday, the next succeeding day, which is not a public holiday. Then the date on which a poll shall, if necessary, be taken, and the date before which the election shall be completed. D has to be read with section 42. Date of poll. The 43 under section 43, the commission doesn't get the power, Millard, to change the date of election which has been fixed under section 42. Therefore, D has to be read with 42. Keeping this in mind, Millard, everything has to be done. Now, your lordships have dealt with that subsection 2. I am not on that, and not because that situation has not yet come. That's Millard, now see, Millard, this is the earlier that was, it was actually happened. Two things have been importantly have said, Millard, your lordships is saying regarding just a submission to that this small space or small little time or hours. I am just trying to assist your lordships. And what has happened and what is the reality, I will tell your lordships. Kindly see first with 46 subsection 2. Without prejudice to the generality of the provisions contained in subsection 1, if the commission on receipt of complaints from the I leave aside this complaint. Let us see, there is no complaint. Still now, there is not a complaint before the election commission. Or that time, they have rushed to the court on 9th. You see, this time is insufficient. That is the only reason. No complaint. That is some obstruction for giving this. At 10:30, there was no obstruction. I have to go back on 9th on 10:30 when the petition was presented before the lordships. Now let's see, issue a direction to the Panchayat returning officer appointed for any block to depute one assistant Panchayat returning officer at the office of the subdivisional officer having jurisdiction for receiving nomination paper within a specified date. Why? Lord, kindly see, the all Panchayats and the Panchayat Samiti's nominations have to be filed before the BDO's office. But here an additional thing has been given to the election commission power that if you feel you can fix up another one as returning officer, one to returning officer, they will sit in the SDO's office. This problem has been addressed here. Now, my lord, kindly come to this. Provided that the commission, my lord, I am, kindly do not take me, my lord, I am trying to help your lordship, assist your lordship, not help. I'm trying to assist your lordship. Some words maybe this side, that side, do not take exception. Assist your lordship. My lord, after, my lord, I know India is the ocean of democracy. It is not my words, it's the words of the Supreme Court. And Justice D.Y. Chandrachud has said this earlier. Justice Chandrachud in 1981 has said India ocean. But democracy has to be read not in that way. Democracy has to be read. If the statutory things are there, we have to read within that. Because every law is good law. Every law is a constitutional unless it is struck down. Then we'll kindly see. Second, provided that the commission may also, by the said order, extended the last date for making nomination for 1 day and also direct that all the nomination paper received under subsection was so for Gram Panchayat Samiti constitution as the case may be shall be taken up the Panchayat returning for scrutiny of all such nomination paper at once is transferred. Therefore, 1 day time has been Lordship has dealt with that already. Made already your Lordship's observation. 1 day time has been given to the Election Commission to extend for 1 day because of the situation arisen in 46 subsection 2. Let me take it, 46 subsection 2 case has not been made out. Let me take it, since your Lordships are making an observation, let me take it that 46 2, just for example, some situations are there, therefore 1 day can be extended. Therefore, what is the statutory provision? Kindly see, just a distinction. I don't know whether your Lordships is having this act or not. Section 30, this election Representative People's Act. See the distinction. See the distinction. Section 30. There was 7 days time. It is not coming, Miller. It is coming in the Representative People's Act. Notification takes effect immediately after the notification has been issued under the West Bengal Act. But here it's not that. 30. As soon as the notification calling upon a constituency to elect a member or members issued, the Election Commission shall by notification in the official gazette appoint A. The last date of making nomination, which shall be the 7th day after the date of publication of the first mentioned notification, or if that day is a public holiday, the next succeeding day. There was 7th day after the date of notification, excluding the public holiday. Here in our statute, it is not that. This is not the language. It may be 6 days. It may be just, here is 6 days there, 6 days are there. Here 6 days are with effect from the, my contention is, it takes effect with effect from the notification is issued, not after 1 day after the notification is issued. That's the distinction.
But what happened in 2018? 2018.
2018, it has taken effect with effect from the date of notification.
Now you see the dates.
What is the date? In 2018, there was a challenge.
It was 7 days. 7 days from the date of publication of the notification till the last date for making nomination was 7 days. Please, that report of the commission, 2nd of April 2018.
Just kindly give me 1 minute time. I don't have anything. সপ্তাহে তো কোর্টে এসে খুলে দেখিস 5টার পর তো বাড়ি গিয়ে ঘুমোস সব কোর্টে এসে similar
Last date will not be on.
This is 2nd April.
Yes.
Notification is 2nd April.
Yes.
Now, last date is making nomination is 9th April. Must be there was one public holiday was there. 1 day public holiday was there. 2 to 9. Suppose it's Monday. Let's give it. 2nd is Monday. 9th is Monday. Sunday is holiday.
So therefore 7 days.
Therefore 7 days. Malad, may I just to tell you the background of that day, what has happened? 6 days. Malad, it is all throughout. Malad, when the constitutional provisions have not come, the amendment has not been brought in the constitution regarding the Panchayat even. In West Bengal Panchayat Act has come in 1973. That time constitutional obligation was not there to hold an election. But in West Bengal it has been held.
But here also we have a holiday. We have 11th of June as a holiday.
11th June?
It's a Sunday.
Last Sunday
for the yes. Yes, yesterday was holiday.
So therefore, still it doesn't have this 7 days.
No, I am not saying that 7 days is compulsory under the Act itself.
True, but going by what you have done earlier, is it not reasonable? See,
I have
probably
only given dates. Anyway,
no, it is a date fixed by the state government. State government on the
government has fixed the day of poll.
2018.
8th July.
2018.
2018, huh?
Yes.
Date of
poll was fixed. At that time, the election commission thought fit. Probably there was also a Sunday. Here was also a Sunday. There are 7 clear days. So therefore, the commission says I am empowered to push back by 1 day.
Correct. I am not.
That is one. The second is, of course, who's to make available the nomination papers?
Nominations papers were available. My instruction from 11 o'clock there. If someone says that no nomination paper was available, he's not correct.
No, if the
so far the political parties are concerned.
No, individual candidate, just now senior counsel read, subsection 46, subsection 2.
46, subsection 2.
So that we don't know, we have read.
Without prejudice to the generality, yes.
Yes, he is entitled.
Any complaint has received. Yes, power is there.
But there appears to have been complaints. That's what.
I don't know whether they have received the complaint or not, but not a single individual. My instruction is not a single individual had gone back from the returning center, nomination center, without having any nomination. Sorry. Please wait. Please wait. Please wait. Allow me to speak. You have said.
Let him complete.
Allow me to speak. No.
I just
allow me to speak. I am very unpalatable to you, but you have to speak.
No, sir,
yes.
you are not.
Yes, I know.
Don't say all.
Now, I tell you that heart I am on. Nominations papers were available. Number one. An impression is being given that how can I within this time the nomination paper 46 times in Calcutta High Court every day 2,000 petitions are filed. That doesn't mean that the 2,000 petitions are being heard by the Honorable Chief Justice. In a block development officer, this is the ground reality I am talking about. In a block development BDO office where the Panchayat and Panchayat Samiti is there, so far Panchayat is concerned, suppose there are in one block, there are 16 or 18 or 20 Panchayat. Correct, Miller? Now 20 Panchayat, 20 offices are different. Different tables are there. Suppose X Panchayat, one table, Y Panchayat, one table, Z Panchayat, another table, A Panchayat, another table, B Panchayat, another table. It's not that. Everyone is going and giving it in one place. It's not correct. That's the reason assistant returning officer is there. Returning election officer is there. And the officers are there. Therefore, 15 or 20 Gram Panchayats, the tables are there. Then it comes to Panchayat Samiti. Panchayat Samiti completely different room, different compartments. Jela Parishad, one has to go to the subdivisional office, not the BDO office. There was this is not a correct approach. Facts are being said before a lot.
That's true, sir. But then the state is under an obligation to do all this. It is not a largest. State is under an obligation. On a direction of the commission, you need to provide entire infrastructure, keeping aside the other duties. This is predominant for this schedule of this 7 days or till the last date for making of nomination. This is bound to be done.
Correct.
Bound to be done.
Correct.
And what little deficiency is there, if it is pointed out, it needs to be remedied.
Correct. That's who will reach to this satisfaction? Yeah, I am insufficient. Election Commission.
Yes.
That's right. Then if the Election Commission comes to a reasoning or comes to a finding that I am not in a position to do it, then the Election Commission can take an appropriate corrective measure.
Now, by way of these petitions, some representation is said to have been given. He wants a supplementary affidavit. They bring it to the notice of the commission. Sir, in this particular district, in this particular constituency, this particular panchayat, I am not able to do it. There is inadequacy of staff. Suppose a panchayat returning officer may fall sick. It may not be intimated or some calamity may happen. There may be contingency.
Correct.
So therefore, there can be in a ground reality.
Election Commission will decide it.
Yes, that needs to be. So therefore, the state missionary needs to support the entire system.
Absolutely correct. One of my experience, I am telling you, kindly do not. Even over mobile, I raised a complaint to the chief election commissioner in the parliament election. over telephone, because there is no time. I am in the rural villages, I am moving on. Complaint was lodged over telephone. They have taken note and the steps have been taken within 1 hour or 30. That is the election commission will do it. I have nothing to say on that.
So therefore, the state machinery needs to support that process.
Now the question is, beloved, whether the state machinery is sufficiently helping the election commission or not, it would be decided by the election commission. Satisfaction of the political parties are not required. Satisfaction of the election commission, because no one can satisfy any political parties. No one. The satisfaction cannot be on the basis of satisfaction of political parties or individual, we do not know, individual. Now the satisfaction under the statute or under the constitutional scheme, if the election commission says that I could not do it on Saturday, I was not in a position to give this assistance, 9th was completely an inefficient, unworking day, absolutely, this satisfaction had...
We don't have anything on record to know how many complaints have been received by the commission, at what stages they have interfered. Probably they have issued directives. There might have been some issues. That's all within the privy of the commission. But then the court is not concerned about who came before. That's why it's called a public interest litigation. So assuming that we feel that this one of the public interest litigant needs to be discharged, we can discharge. Still we can retain it in our suo motu power. There is no issue.
Your Lordship, I have gone through your Lordship's judgment. See, in Madras, my Lord Chief Justice was sitting with Justice Kafiullah, had initiated a suo motu proceeding. So that can always be done. So therefore, this issue, so far as whatever is the grievance is concerned, because the endeavor of the state also should be that free and fair polls. Correct. So and once again, by we are the risk of repetition, it is the electorate which should be the primordial interest, paramount interest of the electorate. Political parties, no, even not, may I say one thing, I am not in anything. What I am submitting, whoever he may be, what authority he is may be, even with great respect, even the court also have to travel within the parameters of the statute, not in derogation of the statute, not in violation of nobody.
Section 43 proviso gives enough power to the commission
to do it.
So that's why we are appealing to, we have made an order or prima facie observation for the commission to revert back. Commission says it will push back one day. But if the commission is able to ensure that seamless availability of nomination forms, receipt of nominations, there are no issues, absolute regulation of law and order, no issue, then there is no problem.
Very nice.
No problem.
Now, all the time, starting from 2018, not only your lordships, everyone, even the Chief Justice of India's court, was impressed. 20,000 uncontested, 20,000 uncontested, 20,000 uncontested. That's not for the first time. I will come to this, I will show this judgment. And I want to see the courage, what they have done it. Today, at least the political parties will tell you, lordships, what they have done it in terms of the Supreme Court judgment. But 20,000 uncontested was said up to Supreme Court granted injunction, don't publish result. So far the 20,000 uncontested is concerned. Contested, initially entire injunction not to publish, we are not interfering with the election. But no result. In the first week of July, after the reopening of the summer vacation, the Honorable Chief Justice of India's bench cleared the contested. Contested, declare. Uncontested, the argument, then uncontested. Kindly take it. So many things have been said. Every time, one must learn a lesson. Joshua, job copied out. No, just read it. Ask them what they have done it. 2018, volume 18, Supreme Court cases 141. এখান থেকে তো ছিল, এখান থেকে দাও না। মুশকিল হচ্ছে তুমি জানো না তো কত।
I think it is in your lordships, the one that I've handed up to your lordship. It is an annexure, annexure 3.
Oh, it's available, sir. It's available.
Annexure 3, my lord. The entire.
My lord, kindly see.
This is unreported.
West Bengal State Election Commission versus Communist Party of India Marxist. Right? Election Commission India versus Communist Party of India Marxist. That is the first matter. There Bharatiya Janata Party was there. All India, Indian National Congress, all of the respondents, and All India Trinamool Congress was also one of the respondents. Now, my lord, kindly come. My lord, this is the background of this has been said. Then, my lord, issued so and so, so and so. 114, paragraph 10. On 25th April, to this CPIM moved a writ on article to seeking inter-directions for setting aside election process, renewal so and so, permission to file nomination in election form, deployment of scrutiny, appointment of special officers so and so, recording video footage so and so during course of the Millard. This is also not very. Namlad, paragraph 12, Amarandanath Saran, the submissions has been recorded. Namlad, kindly come to paragraph 17. Despite having noticed the above position in law, in our view correctly, the High Court proceeded to issue a mandamus directing the State Election Commission to accept nomination in the electronic form. While the division bench of the High Court may have been guided by a desire to ensure free and fair election, the direction to accept nomination paper in the election form has clearly transgressed the permissible area within which the jurisdiction under Article 226 could have been exercised. The jurisdiction under Article 226 has to be exercised in a manner. This is a very important line. The jurisdiction on Article 226 has to be exercised in a manner consistent with law. Then 42, 43, and this 46 is coming, proviso. Then Millard, kindly come to 90, leave aside Millard, section 46 has been taken care of by the Supreme Court. 18, section 46. Whole. Then Millard 20, kindly come to 20. The provisions contained in the Panchayat Election Act and Rules Complete Code in regard to the conduct of the elections, including in the matter of filing of nominations. Neither the Panchayat Election Act nor the rules contemplate the filing of nominations in the electronic form. Any reform of the electoral process to permit the filing of nominations electronically would have to be carried out by legislative amendment. Stop. The High Court not to have issued a mandatory directions of this nature in the face of the specific provisions contained in the Panchayat Election Act and rules. Lord, kindly pause for a moment. I am just take my submission for the purpose of assisting to your lordships, that your lordships, whatever your lordships can do, jurisdiction, power, that is within the statutory provision.
Consistent with law.
Therefore, section 43 has to be read, and section 46 that the proviso has to be read one day. Not beyond, Milord, may great respect to your lordships, but not beyond that. Now, Milord, kindly come. Then see, Milord, this is very important. Paragraph 22. While issuing the notice in this proceeding 10 May to this court, that election which was scheduled to take place on 14 May 2018 shall proceed in accordance with law. Upon the conclusion, the result would be notified. However, the State Election Commission was directed not to notify the result in respect of the constituency where there was no contest. Mark it, Milord. Why no without the leave of the court? On 3rd July 2018, when the proceedings were taken up, this court was informed by Mr. Patiwalia, learned senior counsel appearing on behalf of the BJP, West Bengal, BJP West Bengal unit, that at the Panchayat level, as many as 16,860 seats have remained uncontested out of total 48,000 so and so. For the Panchayat Samiti, 3,096 out of 9,217 were uncontested. While in the Jelapur, 203 out of 282 seats were uncontested. An affidavit has been filed setting out the data in relation to uncontested seats on behalf of the State Election Commission. The data placed on the record indicates that out of a total of 50 so and so, seats combined for Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti, Jila Parishad, 20,159 seats. That was also the issue. 20,000. Now, then the 23 is the submission of Mr. Vikas Singh. 25 was recorded my submission, paragraph 25. Then will kindly come to paragraph 28. The Panchayat election completed in regard to the conduct of the floor for the result of the dispute connecting the validity of the election. 243K entrusts the superintendent directions and control over the conduct of all elections to the so and so. Paragraph 29. There is a merit in the submission that the discipline which is mandated by the provisions of the Constitution enforced by the enabling state law on the subject must be maintained. Any dispute in regard to the validity of the election has to be espoused by adopting a remedy which is known to law, merely through it is at the trial of an election so and so, then the old principles have been given. Malad, kindly come to page 147, next page, 3 lines. I will not read entire paragraph. Last from the bottom, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. That F plus it is in F. Thirdly, once the election process consent is tied, it should not be interdicted mid-stage. The electoral process is afforded sanity in a democracy. That is the reason why, in a consistent line of precedent, this court has insisted upon the discipline of the law being followed so and so. Milord, in my Lord Chief Justice got it, Milord?
Para 31.
Para 31, Milord, in the middle, and last before few lines.
Last term E, is it?
Classical. E after E. Thirdly, once the 20,000 seats will
the electoral process is afforded sanctity in democracy.
Once the election processes commence, it is titled, it should not be interdicted. My Lord, kindly mark.
Correct.
Interdicted. First is interdiction. Whether postponement, my Lord, kindly consider this. It's a point of law, my Lord. Whether if the election commission does it, it is up to the election commission to decide. I am not on that. But court interference, any amount of interdiction is permissible. Interdicted and mid-stage. This electoral process is afforded sanity so and so. My Lord, I am leave aside. Now your losses, very importantly, your losses kindly come. Kindly come to me, Lord, paragraph 32. Under section 79(1), a period of 30 days is prescribed for instituting an election petition where a dispute arises as to the validity of an election. The period of 30 days commences after the date of the declaration of the results of the election. The pendency of these proceedings may have necessitated aggrieved individual for seeking recourse to the remedy of an election petition, particularly after the interim order of this court restrained the state from notifying the results of the constituencies where there are no contest. While we are of the view that the validity of the election must be tested in under section 79, the question as to whether there was a large-scale obstruction. My Lord, can you remember? For large-scale obstruction, 20,000, we could not contest. 20,000 remain uncontested. That was the actual submissions. Now see, from file now is a series which needs to be resolved. This is particularly because even the election commission, as we have seen, had proceeded to take notice of the crime situation while extending the date of filing of the having regard to the seriousness of the allegations and bearing in mind the fact that these proceedings were pending, we are of the view that it would be necessary to exercise the power under Article 142 of the Constitution to extend the period of 30 days for filing the election petition in respect of uncontested. There were 20,000 uncontested. Supreme Court, up to Supreme Court, all the times, 20,000 uncontested. We are not getting the chance. Here it has been started with 20,000 uncontested. My Lord, my queries is, Supreme Court has granted you leave to file election petition against 20,000. Whether any single petition has been filed in state of West Bengal?
There is no petition.
No. Only because it is very easy to come and say before the court, High Court, uncontested, my Lord, there is a tremendous battle, we could not go. There is an obstruction, we could not go. Maybe, my Lord, the honorable judges, maybe swayed sometimes. Order is passed, including the Chief Justice of India has passed the interim order. I don't blame anybody. Someone is coming and approaching. This has happened. From there, from Dinata it has happened. From Bibum, my Lord, it has happened. From this has happened, my Lord, pass the order. This is not the way. This is not the way. Way is well defined. Not a single one. 2018 to 2023 have gone. All are responsible political parties. Mr. Adi Chaudhary was also the lead petitioner at that time. Bharatiya Janata Party was being represented that time. CPIM is not here now. The Indian National Congress and asked them, Bharatiya Janata Party, Indian National, how many election petitions you have filed? And what steps you have taken so far the 32, paragraph 32 is concerned. Lord, mere speech will not do, my lord. One has to take a legal recourse. There was nothing has been done. This is, my lord, all this energy, my lord, kindly do not mind, my lord, my experience speaks about. All these energies have been saved only for the court purpose, high court level. No one will go and file a suit. No one will go and file anything. After that, I do not want to use any other expression. I will not use, because since I am appearing for this state, otherwise I could have given beautiful expression for this. I know what expression is required to be given. And I know that I am not in the evening show here in the court of law. I will appropriate. So up to this I am giving. Now, at this point, now, this is, I have clarified the position in regarding the placement of the tables and etc. In the block development office, I have clarified that which have not been said by anybody. I expected that the election commission will say, but this has not been said. I am sorry, but it has been done. It has done. So far, the Milord, I am just telling you. I have made a note yesterday. I held a conference with my clients, and under one block, minimum is 6 Gram Panchayat and 18 is maximum. Therefore, 6 Gram Panchayat, 6 tables are different. So, but where is 18 panchayats are there, 18 tables are different. Where from 46 second times comes? Then I have to go on calculation how many petitions have been filed by the Calcutta High Court and how many petitions have been dismissed, how much time is taken. Can it be a calculation? And shall everyone will expect that 200 petitions have been filed and the Honorable Chief Justice will take out all the matters? Now, in every Gram Panchayat minimum, the minimum there are 2 panchayats. Shomiti. And maximum is below 3. Suppose in a case of 6, it may be 2. But in case of 18, it is only 3. Jila Parishad in one block, minimum 2, one block, minimum 2, maximum 3. That's a different place. Not booths are booths. Your Lordship is saying booths. This is not a new thing. Even in a parliament election, even in the assembly election, booths are fixed. Here in West Bengal, we follow the electoral roll which are being published by the Election Commission of India. We don't have any separate electoral roll, my lord. We don't have any separate election booth, my lord. We follow, state follows there whatever has been done by the Election Commission. Booth is also not changed. Booth which is in, suppose X school, booth has been fixed by the Election Commission in India, where parliament election has been held or the assembly election has been held. Same, not much. Maybe additional some vote comes, that's a very little case. What are the booths? Booth is 61,336. Whether in a parliament election, in these booths elections are being held or no? Assembly, this election.
But that issue is not
there. Since your lordship was asking me the figure, so far the police bill, I will not tell now. If a case arises, my humble submission would be that, Milord, your lordships would read. Milord, today, if one day is pushed, I think that one day would be, according to my calculation, within the 8th July. Because they have given 2 days extra. That election commission, I have nothing to say about that. I am just requesting to your lordships, I am making these submissions, my lord, in a court under Article 226. I have read the particular judgment. Court has to travel within the parameters of this. My lord, India, again I repeating, India is the ocean of democracy. That doesn't mean that for the protection of the democracy, protecting the democracy, statutory provisions would be violated. Statutory provisions are meant to protect the democracy.
Yes.
People of life to your lordships.
Anything else you want to say?
অনেক কিছু তুমি এগুলো দেখে বলবে, তুমি এগুলো আগে দেখাও যে ইনফরমেশন যেটা দিতে চাইছিলাম সেটা এটা তুমি আগে বলো, কোনো কমপ্লেন্ট তো হয়নি।
May I just take your lordship note first? The rules framed under the Act of 2003.
For 5 minutes.
Yes.
System of panchayats, not as has been judicially held, is an accountable system and equitable distribution of resources. It's an accountable system. But sections 42, 43 and 46 have to be juxtaposed to the rules framed under the Act. Please have a look at the rules framed under the 2003 Act, beginning from Rule 28. It is the West Bengal Panchayat Election Rules 2006.
Yes.
Please see note the section or note the rule headings first. Notice of election. Because not these rules are referable or reconcilable with 43 and 46. On the appointment of date or dates of poll. West Bengal Panchayat Election Rules 2006. Rule 28.
Yes.
On the appointment of date or dates of poll for any election under section 43 and in conformity with the provisions made therein. But coming back to section 43, it's obviously referable to an extended date of poll as may be fixed by the commission. This also includes the proviso to 43(1). And in conformity with the provisions made therein, coming back to Rule 28, the district panchayat election officer shall by order in Form 1 notify the last date, time and place for making nominations. The district panchayat election officer. But he has been defined in the Act of
But he can't publish a different date.
No.
From the date published by the commission.
Not a poll date reconcilable with nominations. And this poll date referable to 43(1) obviously includes under the proviso to 43(1).
Which can extend time.
That's an extended time period. The last date, time and place for making nominations, the date for scrutiny of nominations, the last date and hour for the withdrawal of candidature, the date on which and the hours between which the poll when the election is contested shall be taken. Provided that such notice in Form 1 shall be governed by an order as may be issued in terms of subsection 2 of section 46.
That's correct. They are ready to do that.
Yes.
They are ready to do that.
Kindly have a look now to 46(2).
Yes.
Without prejudice to the generality of the provisions contained in subsection 1, without prejudice to the generality of the provisions, if the commission on receipt of complaints, so not section 46(2) begins with the phrase without prejudice to the generality of the provisions contained in 46(1). And 46(2) is dealing with certain contingencies.
Yes.
And that in any event does not abrogate or restrict any of the powers either in 43(1) or in 46(1). So whatever flows from the provisions of 46(2) cannot be an absolute mandate for the purpose of extension of time period by one date for the purpose of nomination.
Because the proviso says so.
Yes, proviso gives an extended power to the commission to extend the date, and 46(2) is without prejudice to the generality of the powers.
So this is qualified. Subsection 2 is qualified by the proviso. So if a complaint is received
Yes.
by somebody is being obstructed, etc., etc., what it can do, the commission may by order issue a direction to the PRO appointed for the block or depute one more assistant PRO of prevention or obstruction of an intending candidate from filing the nomination. Then what it can do is it can either have additional officers, etc., and receive the nomination papers. The proviso says that is one form of redressal. The second form of redressal is, if suppose that is not feasible, may also by the said order extend the last date for making nomination for 1 day. So their submission is that statutorily I am entitled to extend it by 1 day in terms of contingencies arising under subsection 2.
Please see the interplay of 46(1) and 2. But what does 46(2) authorize the commission? I mean, the commission to do? It authorizes the commission to issue a direction to the Panchayat returning officer appointed for any block to depute. The first power is to depute one additional officer.
Correct.
And in that order, extend the time.
May by
The said order.
May also. Proviso says may also.
By the said order.
By the said order. So it doesn't mean that it can be two orders.
No.
One is immediately depute additional officer. Then it's still the situation is not remedied. It can pass an order extending the last date, but the statute says he can do it
1 day only in respect of these situations contemplated in 46(2).
In fact, that was done in 2018.
Yes.
But that order was withdrawn.
That's
That
right.
gave a cause of action to challenge it. The matter traveled up to Supreme Court. So Supreme Court says within this window, whatever has been provided, you do it. So in case of individual complaints, see, we are looking at a public interest litigation where people have come trying to focus on inadequacy of time, lack of preparedness, apprehension of law and order situation, etc. So broadly, the report covers, and we will definitely issue appropriate direction so that the filing of nomination goes on seamlessly. But the extension of time can be done in terms of proviso to subsection 2 of section 46. To that extent, the commission has power under subsection 1 of section 43.
Now, I'm not 43(1). Not this. Kindly have a look not to 43(1).
This is specific in respect of complaints. So, by 1 day. So now we are. So we are. You can tell them.
Yes, Mr. Mujumdar.
Yes.
Section 43 and 46
My lord.
stand on different footings. 43 is in general extension for the entire, and 46 for any particular block on receipt of
I
complaint.
bow down. But
43 and 46 stand on different footings.
had this 46(2) not begun
46
with
can be extended for any particular block or for any particular panchayat, and 43 is for the entirety.
now 46(2) begins with the without prejudice to the generality of the provisions contained in subsection 1.
Yes.
Please see. So
that
there is no
43 is in total. Without prejudice to that, for any particular block under 46(2), it can be done.
yes 46(2) is does
Without
not.
extending it for the entire.
Please see 46(1) first.
Yes.
On or before the date appointed under clause A of section 43,
Yes.
each candidate shall either in person or by his proposer, between the hours as may be prescribed, deliver to the Panchayat returning officer at the place specified in this behalf in the notice issued under section 44 a nomination paper completed in the prescribed form and signed by the candidate and by a voter of the constituency as proposer, provided that no nomination paper shall be delivered to the Panchayat returning officer on a day which is a public holiday.
Yes.
So 46 is referable to an appointed day under section 43.
Yes.
Section 46(2) is without prejudice to the generality of the provisions contained in 46(1). This does not in any way inhibit the powers under 43(1) proviso.
Yes, 46 for a particular block it can be done without extending it generally.
Suppose
For the other constituency.
as my learned friends on the other side was contending, there is a queue and the nomination papers could not be put in. So in consultation or not in view of the appointment of an additional officer,
That
he
the
extends
commission
the
can
date by
extend.
another day. But this is without prejudice to 43(1). There is no contest.
Now they are agreeable to push back the date by 1 day. They are agreeable to push back the date by 1 day. Whatever has to be done to ensure that the nominations are filed in a proper manner, we shall issue appropriate directions. That can be done.
Yeah, yes.
May I, my lords? I'm so sorry, my lords. Lords, the stand being taken saying that only 1 day extension will be given in my respectful submission, my lords, is not justified.
But that was the scenario in 18. That notification was issued, which was withdrawn, which gave the cause of action. Just now, Mr. Bandyopadhyay placed the
That's
decision.
the Supreme Court decision.
Yes.
That's what I was pointing out. In fact, that decision of the Supreme Court, though ultimately it says we will not interfere for other reasons, because in the meanwhile, election had taken place. Court said you go through the process of filing an election petition. But that decision, my lords, takes note of the fact that, my lords, so many seats went uncontested. The same thing will get repeated here, my lords.
That's their argument was,
Yes.
it is true.
Yes.
Therefore, under 142,
Yes.
the Honorable Supreme Court extended the last date for filing election petitions by 30 days.
That's correct.
It is their contention that
Yes.
not a single election petition was filed.
No, that's right, my lords. That the fact.
So
that,
we will not go into that.
yes.
So right from the beginning, we recorded the submission that your intention is not to stall the election.
Absolutely, my lords. Even today, I'm saying that.
Yes, because the legal position is very clear on that. So the endeavor of this, whatever is the public interest litigation is to ensure that the process goes on seamlessly.
Absolutely. Correctly. Now,
In aid of the election.
that's correct. In aid of the election. Now, every prayer that we are making, my lords, and every submission we are making is only to, my lords, achieve that objective. Now, the claim, my lords, that only 1 day can be given, my lords, in my respectful submission, my lords, is taking a hyper-technical view, bereft of, my lords, and without looking at, my lords, the ground situation. Even, my lords, 2018, the fact that there was time given to react is something which is not given today. That is one. And in 2013, my lords, they themselves the election commission itself took an extension of time. The state challenged that. Ultimately, Supreme Court said, no, yes, there will be extension of time. Just show me that order.
Supreme Court 142, they can.
My lords, it's at the end of the day, my lords, 142 or for that matter, 226, my lords, of this honorable court. In fact, 226 power, my lords have really vast powers. 142 on peculiar facts of certain case, but 226, my lords are looking at the reality, my lords. That morning, the notification is issued and by 11 o'clock, it starts.
So that their explanation is notification takes effect from that date.
Yes.
So what we were saying is, there is 1 day difference between the 18 schedule and this 2023 schedule.
Yes.
That is one part of it.
Yes.
The second part of it, which actually what is being brought out in all these public interest litigation is
yes,
that people are not in a position to freely file the nominations.
Correct.
Now, because of this inadequacy, papers are not available. That the state will ensure, the commission will ensure.
In my respectful submission, my lords, on earlier occasions, the state commission came with various, my lords, assurances. None of it, my lords, bore fruit. Ultimately,
we make it a direction. We are not here to ask them to give a concession.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a direction on the commission.
Right.
They will ensure that.
No, in fact, there, my lords, I am obliged to my lords for that. I am only saying, in the same light, with regard to, my lords, the date, my lords, for filing nominations also, I am respectfully submitting. Now that, my lords, the commission is saying that we'll extend it by only 1 day, I am submitting, my lords, this honorable court can issue the direction, my lords, and 43 is so very clear, my lords, 43(1) is so very clear. It specifically says, Yes. Now, please see 43.1 again with me, my lords. My
Yes.
apology for that, my lords. My apology for that. After the issue of the notification under 42, the commission shall by notification appoint the dates for various stages of election in the manner as follows. Last date for making nomination, which shall not be later than 21 days, but earlier than 35 days before the date fixed for the poll. Date for, my lords, then the next date is for the scrutiny, which shall be the second day immediately following the last date of making nominations. Then C, my lords, for withdrawal of candidature. 4, date on which the poll shall, if necessary, be taken. And E, my lords, the date before which the election shall be completed. Now, along with this is the proviso. In law, my lords have given umpteen times of provisos an exception to what the main section provides, what the main part of the provision provides. It says that the commission may, for reasons which it considers sufficient, extend by notification the date for completion of an election. So 43.1 is an independent compartment by itself.
So we will direct the commission to
Yes.
exercise the power under the proviso
Yes.
to 43.
Yeah, exactly, my lords. Let them do it.
We will not say whether it's 1 day, 2 days, 7 days, 10 days.
Yeah, then can I make this request, my lords? Can I make this request? I quite understand that. Let them, my lords, take a decision, come back to my lords by tomorrow, my lords. Then my lords will have to see where we stand.
Otherwise, nomination to
Otherwise, my lords, the whole thing, my lords, would become an academic exercise. I understand what is falling from my lords. So whatever they are doing, my lords, let them do so and come back to my lords. My lords are in season of the matter. There are also other prayers to be considered, my lords. Today, we are at the threshold stage of the date for filing nominations.
No, all other prayers will be considered today.
I vote on, correct. In fact,
Today it
that's,
will be considered.
that's right. Therefore, my
The
lords,
report is in place. Today it will be considered.
very, very well, my lords. I am saying independent of that, on the extension, they have to come back to my lords and say what they are going to do, my lords. It can't be that, my lords, it becomes a 1 day. Then what happens really is this, my lords. This is really some kind of a
See, the
cosmetic.
problem is,
Yes.
how do you push back the date? See, Supreme Court says that you don't interdict the election process.
That's correct.
See, whatever it is, if anything done in furtherance of completion of an election,
Correct.
and the Supreme Court says it is not interdicting.
Correct.
Postponing the date of election is undoubtedly interdicting.
And now there, my lords, my respectful submission is this. Please consider, my lords. This is not a case, my lords, where the order of the court or the decision that is being taken at the instance of the court is something which will result in either a countermand, my lords, or, my lords, a cancellation or a revocation of the election.
We will
It's
consider.
only a readjustment of the dates. Therefore, I would respectfully submit, my lords, this is something where, as what fell from my lords, at least 5 to 6 days, my lords, is something absolutely most reasonable. Please also, my lords, recall the date for putting in place the new body or the elected persons
August.
is August. Now, therefore, every consideration or every issue that is being now canvassed before this honorable court and on which a prayer is sought will not in any manner, my lords, result in either a countermand in that sense or, my lords, a revocation or, my lords, an interdict on the election. It will only, my lords, put in place a date schedule which is absolutely realistic and will ensure a free and fair polls. That's really my submission, my lords. And 43.1 operates on its own force. And the fact that, my lords, there is some kind of a provision to be made where breather is made available. We are looking at not just, my lords, one set of candidates. We are looking at candidates who want to contest all across, my lords, the social spectrum. And the other side of it, my lords, is the electorate itself, where, my lords, they have the confidence that this is a process which has not been rushed through. Therefore, I would respectfully submit, my lords, extension of time is really the first part of it. And that is something where, my lords, if the EC, my lords, if the State Election Commission is not really responding in a manner, my lords, beyond a day, that's something where, my lords, this honorable court will have to really, my lords, step in, my lords, and issue appropriate directions, my lords, on this. That's my respectful prayer on that.
Item number 1, what do you like to say? Serial number 1.
Before my friend starts on item 1, on the other interim prayers, my lords, on the other interim prayer, because my lords are indicating that other aspects also will be considered. On, my lords, paramilitary forces, we have, my lords, set out in the writ petition all the past instances. Please make a note of page 83. We have catalogued, my lords. Please have a look at that 83 for a minute, my lords. Page 83 in my writ petition.
Thanks. Yes. Date of poll alone has been. Result.
Certificates. A completion is not.
Page 83, my lords.
Central government is very answer.
Yes.
Page 83, my lords. I have given the entire list of matters, my lords, where the interference of this honorable court has occurred, my lords, taking into account the law and order position. Where a transfer has occurred, my lords, to the NIA at the instance of the court, of this very honorable court. That's one. We have, my lords, also produced orders, my lords, of this honorable court in respect of 3 other earlier elections. The Kontai municipality election.
Where is that?
Then the Kolkata municipal elections, my lords.
Page.
Page, my lords, please make a note of these page numbers. The orders have been produced. Where's my note? The first one, my lords, please make a note of it. Page 149 to 163.
That's one time.
That's, my lords, the Kontai municipal election. That is one, my lords. Then, my lords, please make a note of the order in respect of, my lords, the Calcutta corporation elections. That's page 181.
Everywhere it was there to the election commission, they failed.
Now, my lords, in all instances where, my lords, assurances were given, but ultimately, my lords, it happened that there was, my lords, violence. Large scale violence. The third instance, post-poll violence, my lords, after the state assembly elections. A 5-judge bench of this court, my lords, had taken cognizance of the matter and completely, my lords, looked at what had really happened and issued directions. Please make a note of that, my lords. That starts in volume 2, my lords, at page 350. Starts at 226, my lords, 223.
Yes.
And the directions, my lords, are at 344 to 346. Then, my lords, fact-finding commission. That starts at page 354, same volume 2. And please make a note of, my lords, page 385 and thereafter from 390, my lords, the recommendations.
But their sheer parameter force is required.
Where all these, my lords, have repeatedly stressed on the need for paramilitary forces. Today, my lords, it is an apprehension which has a basis. It is an apprehension which has a history. And judicially, my lords, taken note of. That's my respectful submission, my lords. Then, my lords, on the question of CCTV, etc., my lords, again, there are specific directions in these orders itself. There are specific directions by this honorable court itself. That is only, my lords, audit of the CCTV footages which was ordered has been stayed by the Honorable Supreme Court. Otherwise, the direction for provision of CCTV, my lords, has not been interdicted.
No, they are agreeable. Wherever CCTV is not feasible, videography will be done.
Yes, no, therefore, the bottom line.
In our earlier order, we have said the responsibility lies with the commission.
Correct.
To ensure preserving the footage.
That's correct. That's right, my lords. And one other aspect, my lords, the place to file nominations. Now, there again, my lords, it is on the basis of the past, my lords, experiences. Where now they are talking about how, my lords, it has to be filed only with the panchayat officer at one level or the block development officer. Now, the statute itself envisages any other authority to whom one other named authority has been provided to whom it can be submitted.
Under 46.
Under 46(2) itself. There's a provision for that. Just have a look at that, my lords.
To the SDO officer, assistant returning officer.
Just see 46(2), my lord, at another place other than what is notified in the statute. please consider this as a matter of law from two perspectives. One, is there a bar under the law for such a contingency to be made? Is there a bar? Is there a positive bar? The answer is no. Two, the obverse of it. Are there or are they not enabling provisions for doing an alternative? There is an enabling provision. Therefore, once we see that there is no absolute bar, and there is also along with it an enabling provision for doing an alternative, the role of the court in my respectful submission steps in, my lords. This has to be read with the overarching power of the commission under 324. Residual reservoir of powers where everything necessary to ensure that free and fair polls are there, that is given effect. Today, it will not be right on the part of the commission to simply say the statute provides X, therefore I will not go beyond that. Even this date of 1 day is really because they are looking at it from the prism of 21. But there is an outer limit of 35 days. And today, by saying that the election will be on the 8th or on the 12th, does not mean the election is now getting interdicted. It only means that the election is being conducted in a manner which is really qualifying to be called a free and fair election.
Yes.
So that's so far as, my lords, paramilitary forces and the venue, my lords, for filing the nomination papers themselves.
61,346 vote. Today there are active police forces 46,000. So there is not even one police person for one booth.
That's right, my lords. This is another factual aspect my lords will bear in mind. I pointed out, my lords, in terms of broad figures. If there are 10 candidates for 73,000, what will be the time needed? That's one part of it.
Yes.
The second part, the number of booths, my lords, even according to my learned senior friend, my lords, is 61,396 votes.
346.
The Act
346.
363.
He said 346.
61,346. Now, the police force which is available, active force which is available, is 46,000. Not even one person per booth.
Let them show the figure. Let them give the
Therefore, now what are we looking at, my lords? Is there any effective mechanism? This is something which has to be taken note of, my lords,
Yes, yes.
in the light of the past experiences.
That we have made a note.
Yes. Then, my lords, this is not to, my lords, highlight once again, my lords, the fact that there are certain categories of persons who cannot be enlisted as a matter of guidelines from the EC, my lords, and even otherwise, they are not persons who will be able to ensure that the law and order is maintained.
Yes.
Then, my lords, if this be the factual position, is there not a case made out, my lords, for the interference of the court at this stage? Even the decisions of the Honorable Supreme Court, including 2021, what it says is the court under 226 will issue directions, or please read it as can issue directions, to ensure that the polling process is furthered in a manner which does not really, my lords, interdict. And interdict here means, my lords, elections being stopped.
Yes.
Yes.
Any one of the directions we are seeking are not those for stopping the elections, which is why we said on day one. Yeah. Therefore, my lords, I'm just circulating those judgments, my lords, 2021 Supreme Court, my lords, and also 2008 SCC, my lords, Supreme Court, that also I'll give, my lords. I'll hand over the decision.
Compilation.
That is that Ashok Kumar case.
Sorry, my lords.
2000 volume 8 SCC is Ashok Kumar.
Yes, yes, also.
Exactly. Ashok Kumar.
We'll take note of it.
Yes.
So we have to hear you, and two other petitions they mentioned in the morning. So what else?
Application.
We are just a Bondobhat process, but we have submitted.
My lord, we are the, my lord,
My lord, with the
there is a
leave of my
judgment which has been annexed here, division bench judgment.
Kulanda.
Justice, my lord, Chief Justice Prakash Srivastava delivered this judgment. It's at page 180, kindly.
What is the
Page 180.
My lord, I am going to place the judgment with regard to this. My lord, kindly just
No,
make a note of.
we will continue in the afternoon. Because some of the petitions,
I shall take only 5 minutes just to please the.
no, actually there are a couple of people who wanted to file writ petitions. We said not required. We hear them.
Very well. I shall come back.
We have heard your submissions, I think.
Just one or two things, maybe just to supplement my lord, once others submit, because they said no complaints have been filed. There are complaints.
You are trying to postpone the elections.
No, no, no.
Why?
Maybe it's a postponement of my submission until after lunch.
No, we'll have to hear another 6 advocates.
I'll just hand this over and I think I'm done with that.
Yeah, this is 2008.
No. This is the present election. Complaint has been given.
Okay. There is a supplementary affidavit.
Yeah, there's an affidavit, my lord, sir, where this has been done. Give a copy.
That you please give copies to the Council for the Election Commission. Yes.
This is our supplementary affidavit. Copy there.
On what? No. See, at this stage, how is that relevant? We'll hear your matter. A couple of probably. It is not listed today. It is not listed. So we are only on this schedule, etc. That can be. You please put them on notice. Put them on notice. You give these mentioning slip. After putting them on notice, we'll include. So we'll hear item serial number 1, and we'll hear 2 writ petitions.
So far, my writ petition is concerned, my lord, it is very similar to the writ petitions your lordship is hearing now. Leave may be granted. So,
see, without repeating, you may add or supplement the submissions.
Yes. My lord, only thing is leave may be granted so that we can formally serve them a
not
copy.
Required, sir. Why to multiply?
Fair enough, my lord. We will make also.
Is what we are saying.
My lord, all application, my lord, is for the government employees, my lord, will be the presiding officer and the BDOs, my lord. We are seeking protection, my lord. In 2018, my lord, several of the officers have suffered injuries, some are died. Even my lord, please, even my lord, Saturday, my lord, a block development officer was brutally beaten up only because he gave nomination form to the opposition.
The election commission should take.
Yes, my lord.
The officers are deputed, and if their life is under threat.
What about our personal life and liberty, my lord?
Sir, your matter has been heard. This repeated submission, what we'll do, we'll admit it, post it for a counter. That's all.
Super item 1, no, I have been told that no copy has been served upon the state.
No copy has been served. But he says we have not allowed them.
No, item 1.
Item 1 is an old matter. It has been upgraded.
My application also.
No. We will not take up any petition. You make your submissions. We'll issue directions.
Okay, grateful, man.
What is that you want?
Grateful.
That is also we have said. We'll reassemble at 2:30.
Lordship, kindly just one matter, your Lordship. It is also related to the civic volunteer and the Panchayat. What happened, your Lordship, latest to development is there on the last 2 day for the nomination.
We have already informed the senior advocate appearing for the commission that regarding contractual staff, civic volunteers, etc. If there is a bar under the regulations or notification of the election commission, they cannot be deployed.
Lordship, there is a clear circular is there by the.
That is what we are saying, sir. Circular is there. That is why we are trying to impress upon them. What do you want us to do? To go to the commission and cast them by hand?
Lordship, they are assuming their power beyond the rule of law.
Yes. Your submission also appears to be like that.
Grateful, your Lordship.